All right, you guys, this is April 28th, and this is section 10.1, so we're going to get started on chapter 10 here. Remember, you guys, I don't know how many of you are watching these videos, but I do have office hours from 9:15 to 9:45 each day. If you have questions, please ask, okay? So in the past, we identified and used parts of parallelograms. We spent an entire chapter dealing with parallelograms, chapter 6. Identify and use parts of a circle. So we're going to be specifically talking about circles for chapter 10. Solve problems involving the circumference of a circle. Pretty straightforward. All right. So a circle is the set of all points equidistant from a given point. So if you start at the center and you go out a certain distance and you stay that distance, you end up with a circle. Okay? I think we know what the center of a circle is. A radius is a line segment that goes from the center to an end, to a point on the circle. A chord is a line segment that joins any 2 points. So we're going to get into those details in a little bit here. Diameter is a chord that goes through the center. Concentric circles are circles that have the same center. The circumference is the linear distance around the outside, kind of like the perimeter of a circle. Pi is an irrational number that we use in calculating circumference and area, and we'll talk about that as we go. Inscribed means I put it inside. Circumscribed means I put it outside. Okay? So here we go specifically. A radius is a segment with endpoints at the center and on the circle. So a radius would be CE, CD, CF. Okay? A chord is a segment that has its endpoints on the circle. So AB is a chord. DE is also a chord. And a diameter is a chord that goes through the center. So line segment DE is a diameter as well. So some of our first examples, just name the circle. We always name the circle by the center. So I would call that circle E. Okay? And identify a radius. Now you've got options here. A radius could be ED or EB, depending upon which direction you go. Okay? Identify a chord and a diameter. So a chord goes from edge to edge. So XZ, line segment XZ would be a chord. Line segment WY would be a chord. And line segment WZ would also be a chord. And a diameter is a special kind of chord that goes through the center. So XZ would be a diameter, and so would WY. Okay? And so you'll see that here as they write it out. All right, so you guys give this a sec. Pause your video if you need to. Name the circle. Circle F, okay? So it's one of those three. And identify a radius. AT, no, that is not a radius, it's a diameter. FN, definitely a radius, goes from the center to an edge. And AC is a chord, so it's got to be B here, you guys. All right, how about this one? Which segment is not a chord? So from endpoint to edge to edge on a circle. AT, definitely a chord. CT, definitely a chord. FN, no, we said that was a radius before, so FN is the one that's going to not work here. All right, radius and diameter relationships, okay? Really, because the diameter goes through the center, the diameter is twice as long as the radius, okay? Or the radius is half as long as the diameter. We just need to know that. And so if RT is 21, RT on the picture there is a diameter. What is the length of QV? QV is a radius. A radius is half the diameter. So if I take half of 21, we get 10 and a half. And we've got our answer. Okay? So pause the video, give this a shot. It says QS, which is a diameter because it goes through the center, is 26. What is the length of RV? RV is a radius. Half of that 26 then is 13. That's got to be our length. Okay? Circle pairs. Okay? Two circles are congruent if they have the same radius. All circles are similar because the ratio of the radii is always going to be the same. And concentric circles are circles that have the same center. So just some terminology here, you guys. So the diameter of circle X is 22 units. Okay? That means from X to Z would be 11. Okay? And the diameter of Y is 16 units. So from Y to W is 16, or is 8, half of 16, and WZ is 5. So let's write this one in here. Okay? So if WZ is 5, we had said that XZ is 11, or half of that. That makes this one 6. And we said that WY is 8, or half of 16, so that makes this one 3. Well, now it's asking me to find XY. That's pretty straightforward. If I add these up, 6 plus 5 plus 3 is 14. That's got to be our XY. I think always drawing a diagram and then writing in what you know is super helpful, okay? So as we go through it, 14, just like we said. Okay? All right, so give this a shot, you guys. So the diameter of circle D, circle B, and circle A are 4 inches, 9 inches, and 18 inches respectively. Okay, so circle D is 4 inch for a diameter, which makes this 2, okay? Circle B has a diameter of 9 inches, so from here to here is 9, which makes this, it says the diameter is 9, so 4.5 is half of that. This is going to be 2.5, okay? And circle A has a diameter of 18, so from here to here is 9. Well, 2 plus 2.5 is 4.5. This is going to have to be 4.5 right here, okay? Ultimately, find A to C. 4.5 plus 2.5 would give me 7, okay? So write in what you know, and then finding the sum later is pretty straightforward. Okay, circumference is pi times diameter. Again, pi, we know pi to be about 3.14. It's really the ratio between the circumference and the diameter if you solve for that, okay? Or you could think of it as 2 pi r, because twice the radius is the same as the diameter. So make sure you have this one in your notes somewhere, you guys. A series of crop circles was discovered in Alberta, Canada on September 4th, 1999. The largest of the 3 circles has a radius of 30 feet. Find its circumference. Well, circumference is 2 times pi times r. This is r. So we're going to go 2 times pi times r, or pi times diameter. If the radius is 30, the diameter is 60. So it's exactly 60 pi. If you grab your calculator, you type in 60 times pi, and you can get an approximation for that, 188.5 roughly, okay? All right, give this one a shot, you guys. It has a diameter of 120 feet. Find its circumference, okay? Circumference is pi times diameter. Okay, so pi times 120. Multiply that out, and you should get 377, roughly, okay? Find the diameter and the radius of a circle to the nearest hundredth if the circumference is given. So I know circumference is pi times diameter. I'm going to start with that formula. I can put in 65.4 for circumference. I can substitute that in. And I can divide by pi. Pi is just a number, okay? So I can solve for d, dividing by pi. And so I get about 20.82 for the diameter. Well, then to find the radius is half the diameter. I'm going to have to take half of that, or 10.41. Okay, there we go. All right, so you give this a shot, you guys. It says the circumference is 16.8 meters. So circumference is equal pi times diameter. 16.8 equals pi times diameter. Okay, so mathematically then I have to divide by pi. I have to take 16.8 divided by pi to find the diameter. Okay, so 16.8 divided by pi. Let me grab a calculator quick here. I get 5.34 or 5.35, but that's the diameter. The radius is then going to have to be half of that. So if then I divide by 2, I get 2.67. So C should be my answer for this one. Okay, find the exact circumference. That simply means I want the number pi to be part of my answer. Okay, the radii in a circle are always the same. So this triangle here is an isosceles right triangle. And if you think back to what we did in chapter 8 with our special right triangles, or 45, 45, 90s, If I've got the hypotenuse, I can divide by the square root of 2 to get back to a side, which would give me a radius. So 3 square roots of 2 divided by the square root of 2, or use the Pythagorean theorem, either way, I get 3. That means that's my radius. Okay, and they're asking me for the circumference, so I can put it into your formula. I get 6 pi when I do that. And they wanted the exact answer, so I leave pi as part of my solution, okay? So find the exact circumference. Same thing, you guys. I know that the radius, because that's a 45, 45, 90, is 10 divided by the square root of 2, okay, which is 5 square root of 2, okay? That's the radius. So the diameter is 10 square roots of 2, and circumference is pi times diameter. So if I take that times pi, I should have my circumference, okay? So utilizing some things that we learned in other chapters as well. All right, you guys, well, good luck. There's your assignment, page 701, 11 through 39 odd. As usual, if you have questions, please ask, okay? See you tomorrow.